Before the topic of this video gets discussed, I would like to say no. I don't know what the fuck y'all are talking about when y'all say my smoke alarm goes off in my videos. That is literally just the background music playing in the video, and y'all got mixed up by that somehow. So please don't expect this video to sound different than my other videos. No hate to the people who said it, I just found it funny is all. Second of all, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. If you flicker going too late.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy, Deed Money. And oh, what a wholesome and splendid day it has been. Just beat the best boss in Kingdom Hearts 2 too. Wowza. Oh my days. I still haven't beaten the final boss, Arkham, in DMC 3 yet. Might as well get to it, you feel me? It can't be that bad though. I had such an illustrious and vigorous day.
So it won't hurt to give this a shot. Ha 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 ha.
Oh my god, this boss fight fucking sucks. Get me out of here. Much better, much better. Man oh man, DMC 3 has bad stages on top of mediocre boss designs. Kingdom Hearts 2 is so clear, but we aren't here to discuss Kingdom Hearts 2 versus DMC 3 today and how good they are overall. We are here to discuss the hype and aura around both games' iconic team-up moments.
Sora and Riku's team up is what Dante's and Vergil's team up should have been from a gameplay and narrative perspective. The team ups for both games are supposed to represent both characters overcoming their individual challenges and uniting to face a common enemy. Riku and Sora's team up is more meant to represent their reconciliation and the triumph of their friendship, while Dante and Vergil's team up represents the importance of family bonds.
Don't get me wrong, I loved it when Dante and Vergil teamed up to fight against Arkham, but beyond that iconic jackpot. Oh man, that cutscene never gets old. Back to what I was saying, beyond that iconic cutscene, the Arkham fight was underwhelming, and the boss fight practically became second-rate slop when Vergil showed up for the second half of the boss fight. For Kingdom Hearts 2 team-up fight with Sora and Riku vs Xemnas, I can't say anything bad about this boss fight. If I'm being real, this was damn near perfect. Sora and Riku's reconciliation is what we wanted for Dante and Vergil, but for perfect story reasons, it couldn't happen until DMC 5. But think of this as me saying Sora and Riku had the team up that Dante and Vergil deserved. Let's talk about this team up fight from a gameplay perspective first. Now you may get DMC fans who have an under triple digit IQ level tell you to get good, belly laughing like a kindergartner after their ridiculous comment, but no, trust me, nobody is going to blame you for finding this boss fight difficult. This is the worst boss fight of DMC 3. For one, the tentacle attacks that look straight out of a hentai this boss pulls off are horrifically choreographed. You better be praying that while you circle the boss, you won't get hit. Furthermore, the enemy's hitboxes, more specifically the slugs that Arkham spawns, are a hassle to deal with. I don't even mean this in a good way. The slugs' hurt boxes are absolutely terrible. They're pretty easy to deal with using the Kalina on, though, and I'm assuming most people on their first try don't use this weapon, which is understandable. This could all be excused if the second phase of the boss fight wasn't downright atrocious. You literally lose access to your style, which is one of the most important mechanics in the combat. I would say Vergil is a pointless addition to the boss fight, but in reality, I can't even say that because his purpose is to make the boss fight even more irritating. The combat was nerfed and the boss fight was overall disengaging due to the bullshit that it emits. Gameplay wise, this is a 4 out of 10 team up boss fight because of your teammate practically making the boss fight even more miserable. In addition to the gameplay segment, let's talk about the actual good team up boss fight. That is Sora and Riku versus Xemnas. Sora and Riku versus Xemnas had me on the edge of my seat. From the maelstrom that are Xemnas' moves that were fun to counter, to the quick time events being the most fun the game has ever been. Riku functions as a party member who can do everything a normal party member can, heal you with items, and support you in combat. The two additions I find cool are this team up allows you to use a new limit ability and saucy quick time events which make the boss fight more engaging. The limit ability you gain is called Eternal Session, which could make up for some cool combos. And I like the way this was balanced because when Xemnas throws you up in the air and you use it, the damage is reduced a significant amount. It's the same as when using Reflect and Xemnas comes at you with a melee attack. He still has options that he can use, but you're at an advantage because of the damage you gain and the amount of time Reflect lasts. I like how you can't just punish the enemy when they clearly have higher pressure on their attacks. It makes this boss fight have a clear balance between your pressure and Xemnas' pressure. Let's go into the meat of the bone. The quick time events in this boss fight are amazing, with each of them offering something new to the already cool quick time event mechanic in this game. Two of the best quick time events in the game are when Xemnas launches you into the air, you have to press the buttons to dodge. You will get punished for just spamming. And the one at the very end of the fight where you have to deflect all of Xemnas' lasers, repeatedly using the Y and A buttons.
Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for! That's what it's all about!
This is a top 5 moment in gaming history, by the way. The best thing about this is that these moments where Xemnas sort of forces you into these cutscenes to use your quick time events are completely optional, besides the one at the very end of the fight, obviously. You can't exactly get away with just spamming Reflect the entire boss fight, but it can be used to get out of these situations. However, Reflect on the boss fight in general has a decent balance between not being optimal and being optimal. Another great thing I find with this boss is the transition between the quick time events and the gameplay, with an example of that in the fight being Xemnas capturing Sora and his magnet spell. At least I think that's a magnet spell. And you just switch to Riku instead, trying to save Sora. This can go one of 3 ways. You fail to reach Sora on time to activate the quick time event, you can get bussy farted on by a Xemnas clone's energy ball because you suck at the fucking game, or you can actually have an IQ that exceeds the Apple Core I recently threw into the trash, aka a higher IQ than the people who struggled with the second scenario, and actually reach Sora on time to activate the quick time event. Something weird about this boss fight is the fact that you can have too much space at your disposal, and that you can, for some reason, unnecessarily just get away with gliding around the map.
Consistently, the other bosses in the game that you fight in some way have something that lets them use the map to their advantage, like in the Vexen boss, and how Vexen uses the small claustrophobic map to his advantage. So we, as the player, would need to balance our movement in the combo patterns so we don't get cloned. Overall, I really enjoy the balance between Xemnas' pressure and how you can pressure him into this fight. They also make it not BS to dodge attacks from the person you're fighting. And oh man, I wish DMC3's Arkham boss fight took notes. I'd give the gameplay segment of this fight a 8.5 out of 10.
DMC3's Dante and Vergil team-up boss fight represents so much to me and the story. I'm not going to do some big overhaul of the story, but I want to get into a short type of analysis that's not just surface level.
Father? I don't have a father. I just don't like you, that's all. This whole business started with my father sealing the entrance between the two worlds. And now, my brother's trying to break that spell and turn everything into Demonville. This is my family matter too.
What Dante was basically trying to repress throughout DMC3 was his roots to his demon heritage. This is seen with how he interacts with Vergil and what he says about his father. These poor traumatized brothers were led astray after their mother's death, with her affecting them equally as much as one another. While Dante does want to reject his demon heritage, he still wants to reconcile with his older brother, even if he says he dislikes him, because deep down, he wants to understand and bond with his older brother again. They hypothetically could have a conversation and do this, but they tried to do this through their combat, which is partially why we love their rivalry, by the way, because oh my god, every fight between them is so cool.
Hell, in one of the final scenes of the game, he tried to save Vergil from falling to, essentially, his death. It also doesn't help because Vergil literally smiles when teaming up with Dante. Do you get what I'm trying to say now? These brothers went through everything, and of course when they team up, they have to be just oozing aura from the screen while we watch and wish for a friend that is the Vergil to our Dante. Enough of me fantasizing. The sad part about this team up is that it wasn't a reconciliation. While it was against a common foe, they only fought in unity to get what they individually desired, and not for each other. They deserve to have that family bond they once had so badly, but it never happened. And so we've in real time witnessed one of the saddest family tragedies. This is a perfect 10 out of 10 team up.
On to the
other brotherly team up, or gay team up if you're one of those. But hey, what can I say?
Riku is a sexy guy.
So that must be the reason why you guys fantasize about him, right?
Kidding, come on guys, can we all have some fun here?
This team up was the true reconciliation and the triumph of their friendship. Before that, Riku sort of mirrored Vergil's character with his need for power to protect the ones he cares about. But most of his bad acts were out of jealousy for Sora and how quickly Sora was to big bro Riku. Riku thought Sora had just forgotten about him and Kairi, which made him even more upset, which led to the start of their rivalry. Riku feeling isolated but also believing that he was so much special than he was led to his downfall. He never apologized to Sora for being a dickhead in the first game either. Sora was jealous of Riku because he felt inferior to Riku, which was being inferior in overall combat, ability, and intellect. What separated Sora and Riku was that Sora relies on his heart while Riku relies on his head. This is all conveyed in their final conversation in Kingdom Hearts 2, where they freely admit their jealousy to one another, understand one another, and triumph over those jealous feelings, and have a great brotherly bond again, something Dante and Vergil 100% deserve. Oh, and by the way, I don't want anybody to disagree with me, or your comment will be deleted, but dare I say this was single-handedly, by far, a top 1 fight scene in gaming history. Yes, this was better than Dante and Vergil saying jackpot. Overall, this is also a perfect 10 out of 10 team up in my book. Dante and Vergil's team-up boss fight lacked the good gameplay necessary for it to be a good boss fight, and Cage 2's team-up boss fight conveyed how to make it work. While it was needed for Dante and Vergil not to reconcile because of story-related reasons, Dante and Vergil's team-up lacked the reconciliation that Sora and Riku's had when each respective duo had a desire for them to connect with their brother figure. This makes Dante and Vergil's family feud tragic when they just wanted to bond with each other again. Sora and Riku's duo mirrors this, with the only difference being that they ended up reconciling instead. Sora and Riku's dynamic mirroring Dante and Vergil shows what it would have been like for them to reconcile. Dante and Vergil having the desire to understand each other should have led to reconciliation, like Sora and Riku did. Thanks for listening, people.